How to fix Valorant and PC freezing due to undetected faulty SSD. Welcome back to Teknobalta. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most insidious and frustrating PC issues: system freezing, particularly during demanding tasks like playing Valorant, caused by an undetected faulty SSD. This specific problem often evades conventional diagnostics, presenting as general system instability, unresponsive applications, and total system lockups that necessitate a hard reboot, leaving users perplexed by seemingly healthy hardware reports. We'll explore the underlying mechanisms of SSD failure, how it can manifest without overt error codes, and provide a comprehensive, multifaceted troubleshooting approach to diagnose and resolve this elusive hardware conundrum. Understanding the root cause involves acknowledging that SSDs, despite their speed and reliability, are complex electronic devices susceptible to wear, firmware bugs, or controller degradation that might not be immediately flagged by smart data. When an SSD experiences unrecoverable errors or latency spikes, it can halt critical I/O operations, leading to cascading system freezes as the operating system and applications await data that never arrives. Our guide will equip you with advanced diagnostics and practical solutions, ensuring your system's stability and optimal performance. Visual aesthetic description for AI image generation. Left side crash. A split-screen image, dark and crimson-toned, depicts a frustrated gamer clutching their head, sweat dripping, eyes wide with exasperation. On the monitor in front of them, Valorant's vibrant UI is frozen mid-game, overlaid by a critical error dialogue. The dialog box, styled with Valorant's modern, angular aesthetic in dark gray and red, prominently displays application not responding fatal error, operation timeout. A ghostly, flickering blue screen of death texture subtly bleeds into the background, hinting at system-wide failure, with professional, dramatic backlighting highlighting the gamer's distress. Right side fixed. The other half of the split screen glows with bright, emerald green tones. The same gamer now sits upright, a triumphant smile on their face, fist subtly pumped in victory. Valorant is running flawlessly on their monitor, vibrant and fluid, showing a character making a game-winning play. The room is bathed in warm, professional lighting, reflecting off polished hardware, embodying relief and peak performance after a successful resolution. Here are 18 deep technical solutions to address Valorant and PC freezing issues stemming from an undetected faulty SSD. Isolate and replace the primary SSD. Given that the user's ultimate solution was installing Windows on a different SSD, this is the most critical first step if other diagnostics fail. Acquire a new, reputable SSD, perform a clean installation of Windows and Valorant on it, then rigorously test for system stability and freezing issues. This direct replacement definitively determines if the original SSD was the root cause, even if smart data appeared healthy. Verify SSD firmware updates. Outdated SSD firmware can introduce obscure bugs, performance degradation, and stability issues that lead to system freezes. Visit the manufacturer's official website for your SSD model and download the latest firmware utility. Then meticulously follow their instructions to update the drive's firmware. This process can often resolve underlying controller errors or improve compatibility. Perform advanced SSD diagnostic utilities. Beyond basic smart data, utilize advanced manufacturer-specific diagnostic tools, e.g., Samsung Magician, Crucial Storage Executive, Western Digital Dashboard, to perform comprehensive health checks, error scans, and performance benchmarks. These tools often have proprietary algorithms to detect latent issues or impending failures that generic smart reports might miss. Inspect SATA data and power cables. Loose, damaged, or low-quality SATA data and power cables can cause intermittent connectivity issues, leading to I/O errors and system freezes, mimicking SSD failure. Ensure both cables are securely seated at both the SSD and motherboard ends, and consider replacing them with new, high-quality alternatives, especially if they are old or show signs of wear. Disable Windows Fast Startup. Windows Fast Startup, hybrid shutdown, can sometimes interfere with proper hardware initialization, particularly with storage devices, leading to instability or corrupted system states upon boot. Navigate to Power Options in the Control Panel, click Choose what the power buttons do, then change settings that are currently unavailable, and uncheck Turn on Fast Startup, recommended. Check AHCI driver status and configuration. Ensure your system is using the correct and most up-to-date AHCI, Advanced Host Controller Interface, drivers, typically provided by Intel or AMD for your chipset. Generic Microsoft AHCI drivers, while functional, might not offer optimal performance or stability for specific SSD controllers, potentially contributing to I/O bottlenecks and freezes. Verify the AHCI mode is correctly enabled in BIOS. Monitor System DPC latency. High Deferred Procedure Call DPC latency can cause audio dropouts, stuttering, and system freezes by delaying crucial operations. Use tools like Latency Mon to analyze driver and hardware responsiveness, identifying specific components, e.g., network adapter, graphics card, storage controller drivers, that might be causing spikes and contributing to overall system instability. Reconfigure page file settings. An improperly sized or fragmented page file, virtual memory, on a struggling SSD can exacerbate performance issues and lead to system freezes, especially under high memory pressure. Consider moving the page file to a healthier drive, if available, or set a fixed custom size e.g. 1.5x2x your RAM on the primary SSD to minimize dynamic resizing. Disable HVCI, Hypervisor Enforced Code Integrity, and SVM mode if problematic. While typically enhancing security, the user noted issues after enabling HVCI and SVM, Secure Virtual Machine mode. If these settings were recently changed, reverting them in the BIOS/UEFI can resolve conflicts, particularly with older drivers or specific hardware configurations that might struggle with the virtualization overhead, leading to system instability. Re-enable after comprehensive testing. Perform a clean graphics driver installation. Corrupted or improperly installed graphics drivers are a common cause of game crashes and system freezes, which can sometimes be mistaken for SSD issues due to their system-wide impact. Use Display Driver Uninstaller, in safe mode to completely remove existing drivers, then download and install the latest stable version directly from NVIDIA website. Verify RAM integrity with memtest86. Faulty RAM can cause data corruption, application crashes, and random system freezes that might initially point towards an SSD problem. Boot your PC with a memtest86 USB drive and run multiple passes to thoroughly test all RAM modules for errors. Even if RAM was cleaned, physical defects require replacement. Check for BIOS/UEFI updates. An outdated motherboard BIOS/UEFI can lead to compatibility issues with newer hardware, including SSDs, or introduce instability. Check your motherboard manufacturer's website for the latest BIOS version and update it carefully, following their specific instructions, as this can improve overall system stability and hardware communication. Run System File Checker, SFC and DISM. Corrupted Windows system files can lead to widespread instability and application failures, including system freezes. Open an elevated command prompt and run sfc/scanno, followed by dism/online/cleanupimage/restore health. These tools scan for and repair corrupted operating system files, which might be a symptom or cause of broader issues. Inspect power supply unit, PSU stability. An insufficient or failing PSU can cause unstable power delivery to components, including the SSD, leading to system freezes during peak load, especially in games. While difficult to diagnose without specialized equipment, look for signs of PSU degradation or consider temporarily testing with a known good, higher wattage PSU to rule out power-related instability. Disable Windows search indexing for the SSD. While generally beneficial, constant indexing activity on a potentially unstable SSD can exacerbate its issues, leading to increased I/O demands and potential freezes. Go to this PC, right-click your SSD, select Properties, and uncheck Allow files on this drive to have contents indexed in addition to file properties. This can reduce background drive activity. Check SATA controller mode, AHCI vs. RAID. Ensure your motherboard's SATA controller is correctly configured in AHCI mode in the BIOS/UEFI for optimal SSD performance and compatibility. Analyze Event Viewer logs. The Windows Event Viewer is a critical diagnostic tool. After a freeze and reboot, examine the system, application, and security logs for critical errors, warnings, or audit failures that occurred around the time of the incident. Look for disk-related errors, event ID 11, 153, 51, or unexpected shutdowns. Perform a Valorant file integrity verification. Corrupted game files for Valorant can trigger crashes and system instability, even if the primary issue isn't the SSD itself, but the symptoms might overlap. Open the Riot Games launcher, navigate to Valorant, and use the Repair or Verify Game Files option to ensure all game assets are intact and uncorrupted. Don't forget to follow Teknobalta for more in-depth technical guides and solutions.